right, folks, grab a seat and pour your drink neat as Whiskers and Westies presents Tales of the Trophies, Season 5, Best of the Rest. I'm Mike with EJ. How's it going, pal?
Feel like I should be asking you that question. How's it going? I feel like I'm doing
Bad, bad,
a
bad.
lot better than you. For the listeners, this is the first time that I've been able to talk to Mike about football since Saturday. And it's not because we are unable to. It was more of an unwilling to on, on the other side here. So yeah, how are we doing?
It was just on every level the worst week one you could ask for. You know, the teams I like lost. The teams I didn't like won. Not a lot, not no bets hit. It was just it was a little miserable. You know, yeah. I mean, I think it's unfortunate because it's just a it's just like not only like it's one thing to just lose to Florida State, right? Like or lose week one in general. Like no one likes to lose week one, especially if you're a ranked team, especially if you're was a trendy pick to go to the Final Four, go to the Natty, win the SEC. But then I think the most disappointing thing, and like then to also have the team that you're playing, the guy like triples down, a guy who's accomplished nothing, triples down that they're gonna just mop the floor with you, and then like, oh yeah, well hey, you know what? Credit to the haters, they were right. Honestly, great call by the haters. And then but it's just like just getting really tired of like my football team just having no heart and like testicular fortitude. Like between the Steelers and Bama, it's like those are teams that like used to have some like of the grittiest defenses you've ever seen. And now it's just like, like whatever. Yeah. So I think that's just the most disappointing thing. It's more disappointing than anything. And yeah, I don't think the whole DeBoer thing's gonna be. I think he might be on his way out the door. I mean, certainly if this keeps up, but I guess it's a good thing if it happens sooner rather than later. Yeah, I mean, I want him to do well. I still hope he does do well. I hope they can turn this thing around. But talk about skiing uphill. I mean, sheesh.
Well,
He has a lot to overcome.
there's a couple things. So one, we just yeah, it was I almost just put like with all of our pick 'em picks, like just like the Grim Reaper
Oh,
like across it because the majority of us just got absolutely
yeah.
murdered. Um for us, it's just like football has a way to be just so humbling, right? So we did all of this pre-work. A lot of people did. It's not just us,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and um you really prepare, and we felt great about these big games,
Mm.
and we were wrong on every single one of them, and it's been a while since we've been like this wrong.
Yeah.
It didn't go well with Bama. Yeah, we'll just kind of start there and work our way through some of these terrible no good picks. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to watch most of it. I was sitting I was at an amusement park and was waiting in line for these stupid beloved French fries that everyone seems to die for in this area. And so I was able to,
You're not a home cut fry kind of guy.
potato patch fries are great, but not like wait 45 minutes.
Oh, that's a long wait.
Yeah.
That's a long wait.
It wasn't quite this bad this time, but like generally between, where you can get these, the lines are ridiculous. So
Yeah.
luckily it was not that bad, but in my case, fortunately, because I got to pull out my phone and watch this game because I got to watch absolutely nothing of Texas, Ohio State. So,
Mm.
but what I saw, I didn't like. I mean, I caught the tail end of the beautiful first drive and I was texting you, and then I saw
Great
the
first drive.
rebuttal. And then it was like, okay, fine, fair, great. And then it just went down there, downhill from there. And I just like, even if you look, and I'm not doing this to like rub your face in it at all. I'm just like bringing it up. But the fact that like Castellanos only threw 19 passes for 152 yards, it just seems like, yeah, I mean, the dude isn't a, it doesn't have like a good accuracy and arm strength. Like, you know what I mean? He is a dual threat read option kind of guy. So the fact that it's
And
just like you said, like Bama
yeah,
just wasn't ready,
they
wasn't tough enough. Like,
they had the right offensive coordinator. I mean, that's the Gus Malzahn feasted on
right.
Bama.
But that's even more so. It's like there's no surprise here. You have
Well,
run heavy Gus Malzahn and a dude that just does nothing but run and like
yeah,
that's what's just like crazy. But back to your point about DeBoer, what I read though, I can't remember the three. I gotta remember now the three coaches. But while he's like 5-5 in unranked games or 6-6 against unranked opponents, he's like 6-0 against what Kirby, and there were two
yeah.
other
He's 6-0
big name
against
guys.
Kirby.
Is it Brian
Uh,
Kelly? I assume they beat LSU, right? Did they play
yeah,
LSU
but it
enough?
wasn't even Brian. It's Kirby, Sark, and
Oh, Sark, that's right.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
it's just
mean,
like
yeah.
for that reason alone, like it might be annoying because if he wins the big games, even if you lose two other bad games, like I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think that. I think that the whole I don't think that that's gonna play. Like even if he wins
Yeah.
the big games, because there's teams that he can play. There's teams that he can lose to. Like I don't know if they go 6-6, but they happen to beat like I don't know.
You're not going into Athens and winning and going 6-6. Like those do not compute unless like your team
I mean, it can
gets
happen. I
killed.
mean, upsets happen, right? But like I think they're gonna get. I would think they're gonna get better. But what
Yeah.
bothers me. I think what bothers me the most is there's this attitude around the program now where it's like they like DeBoer kind of like and the team were they're kind of like sneering, like sticking their nose up all off season, like, oh, we'll show you, you guys talk all you want, like this quiet confidence of like, okay, we'll see what happens when we put the pads on, and boy, did we see what happened when we put the pads on. I mean, it's just embarrassing, and I think DeBoer likes to think that he's, I think, smarter than the competition and capable of out tricking them, outfoxing them. And he sure wasn't here. And he's just like, I'd rather, he's the type of guy I think that would rather rely on like cunning and schemes as opposed to like holding his players accountable and preaching mental toughness because there's a lot of penalties and a lot of guys that acted like they didn't really want to be there. And a lot of guys like they just kind of played like just because they're Alabama that they're going to win the game. And they had that great first drive, 16 plays, 8 minutes, touchdown drive, like great first drive. And yeah, I also think I mean the offensive line did not help him at all. But I
No.
also if I hear one more person talk about Ty Simpson or like any quarterback that's like, boy, good on him for sticking around, not transferring. Like in this day and age, like he could have gone and transferred somewhere and started there. Bullshit. Bullshit. That guy, sometimes there's a reason why you don't transfer. It's because you're not any good. And while I don't think that it certainly is not his fault that the game was lost, like he's just kind of like he played relatively mistake free, but like that's just not good enough in to for this program and for the way football is played right now. Like you got to be dynamic, and he just doesn't have that juice. I don't think so. We'll see. I mean, I think the season's a wash at this point. I think it's a loss. It just based on that general demeanor and attitude that I saw, which also
It's
was around last year.
one game. It's
No,
one
no. I
game.
mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, this is, dude. This the same
I
thing that the Steelers have. They just have no guts and
I think this was just like a great example this entire weekend of like not only us, but I think there's certain things now that I look back and it's just like, man, I really over indexed on one thing and not the other. It just comes down to one. It's hard to win on the road in college football. One, first off, you just have to get out of your head Saban's years. Like he completely spoiled you. That
Yeah.
is not how football works. It's just like the Patriots fans. It's not how
Yeah.
football works. Like that was a blessing. Even Kirby Smart, who's arguably one of the best coaches, if not the best coaches in college football right now, has had a 2 year run, right? Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like a true, I guess you lost in the championship, if you want to call it three, like fine. But like it's not as regular as you'd expect. Dabo had his run, hasn't had one in a long time, lost at home,
Hmm.
like right.
Yeah.
So it's like one, you have to get that out of your head. It's hard because you're a fan of that team, but like Saban spoiled everyone.
Hmm.
And two, it's just like 13 and a half point dogs, like at home. And it's tough because they were so terrible, right? But it is Florida State. And I think maybe we underestimated the ability for them to get talent, to be a hard place to play, and a quarterback really getting his first start. A lot of players getting their first start, no matter what pedigree they have. That's a tough thing to do, and it kind of showed, right? Ohio State, same thing. Do I think Arch Manning all of a sudden is going to be the worst thing ever? No, I don't. I think he was a young kid
Yeah.
that played
Well,
a
but
really
that,
good defense on the road. And do I expect Texas by the end of the year to probably be what we were expecting out the gate? Yes, I still do. Right? Like,
yes, but I also feel like that's a little different. Like there's a big difference in between, oh, Arch was a little inaccurate playing on the road in front of an emotional crowd against the defending national champions. There's a big difference in that and like what happened against Florida State because it was just like,
I mean, they scored seven. Scored 7 points.
yeah. Also,
7.
also for the
And
love of God, Sark, your entire playbook inside the 10-yard line, just start over.
yeah,
Just
I know.
see what everyone else does and just do that. Um, like just you gotta completely start over. Like this is years that this has plagued them.
Yeah.
Like you have got at this point, it's like a mental block, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I just again, I don't want to over like break down that game because I didn't get to watch it, right? But just from what I understand, and 14-7 was all I needed to know. Yes, I understand that Texas had multiple opportunities to score way more than that, and it didn't happen. Fine,
Hmm.
but still, you don't score 7 if you're a group of 5 school, let alone 7 if you're a national championship contender.
Hmm.
So I think one of the things that we like definitely put an emphasis on, but just kind of maybe week one's always a mess, right? To
Yeah.
be fair, most people shouldn't bet week one. If you really want to make money, or at least be average, you probably want to wait a couple of weeks to actually see what teams are. But obviously, with our pick'em challenge, we're picking games anyway. But
Hmm.
I just think young quarterbacks in their first starts, we probably should have thought about that versus playing teams that had starters, even if they were the first time at their respective team. I think that was an overlook. I think the home factor. I mean, literally, pick Notre Dame over Miami. Home
Hmm.
team won, right? Clemson was the only home team that didn't win in those big games.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so, from what I understand, Klubnik looked terrible. So
Yeah.
it's it's just it's one of those things where I think it's easy to over then flip the script and overreact. I'm going to do my best to not, because even like Aguilar looked great at Tennessee, and what I mean, there's all these little things that we didn't think. Baylor looked terrible and Auburn looked like world beaters. So
Yeah.
I think water will find its level. I mean, some of these will be better than we thought, some of them will be worse than we thought, but I'm going to try really hard not to like just overcorrect and go the opposite way or draw too many conclusions off of one game. But we'll see.
Well,
Obviously, it's tough all around. A lot of these games, like I said, we were just completely off. But
and while I agree with that sentiment, in literally every other case, it's the Alabama game. You had to watch the game, EJ. It was embarrassing. It was really But again, it's like a nice thing. As sometimes it's like nice to find for people to show you who they are because it's like now you can just you can just adjust your expectations accordingly. I've adjusted my expectations accordingly. So
I I would probably give yourself a little bit more time. I think going into because you got to see like if Florida State ends up actually being like a legitimate team, I don't think there's any.
it's not just the opponent, it's the way in which they played. Just
Yeah, it's a preseason game. That's the thing. Like it's a
no,
preseason game. There
but
was a
it's
lot of
not.
sloppiness across the board. It's not Nick
Even
Saban's teams.
sloppy's okay. It's just no heart,
I will
no
say if there was
guts.
ever an instance that you'd want, it's that. It's I'd rather be embarrassed game one than SEC championship game, and then you're just out of it, right? Then you okay, great, immediately the playoffs, and then it's a first round exit, right? I'd rather take your lumps early and go, holy shit. I'd rather have people just tell you you're a piece of shit after losing on the road one game when you know you can probably lose two, right? Like in maybe even three if you're a big program, depending on how the rest goes. I'd rather be called a piece of shit then than coast until the end and lose two games to be done, right? So we'll see. Maybe they
I'll
don't. Maybe they don't bounce back. And you're right. Maybe
I'll
they
just
just
say
are
this.
mediocre. But I think this is could be if you're going to lose that game. I think I'm personally going to wait to see, you know, at against Wisconsin, even though they're not great, but just to see it bounce back, not a whoever bullshit team they play
Forget
next week.
Wisconsin. I'm taking Louisiana Monroe with the points.
That's what.
36 and a half points.
Well,
I'll take it.
okay, if they win by 36, it's you're still going to feel much
Well,
better about it. You don't need to win by 60.
I am very nervous to take minus 36 and a half as a pick. I don't want to do that because I there's a chance.
Okay, was there any other things you want to mention up front? I mean, like I said, I didn't get to watch Clemson LSU either. I mean, 17-10 still is a slog fest. It sounded like it was a bit better than Ohio State Texas. Because it looked like the defenses just played better versus like offenses not executing, right?
I
So
mean, talked
um
about people. Who else do we not like? I mean,
Auburn pretty much they pretty handily took care of
yeah.
Baylor. Although I
I,
will say Auburn on paper looked better than you want to say, but I didn't expect them to come out the gate
hey,
like
here's
put
something.
together.
Carson Beck. Turns
I,
out you can still ball.
Turns out if you get a couple of good weapons, and we knew the offensive line was going to be great, right? You knew offensive defensive line, Crystal Ball special, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think we might have slandered Beck a bit too much. We'll see though.
We
It's a long
Yep,
season,
yep.
but
Let's Bill Belichick.
I knew that was gonna. I've been talking. I mean, I guess we haven't talked about this, but
Who's gonna who? Well, I don't think. I mean, I didn't expect it to be. I think they are being a little harsh on him. Like I don't think I expected it to be that bad, but I think that they are being a little harsh. Like I mean, like what do you want him to do? Like he's first game. Like have a little bit ball though. It seems like he definitely chose the wrong quarterback because their backup came in. Terrible injury that he had a couple years ago, or was that last year? First game of the season where he broke his leg
I don't
for
know. Mac
UNC
Johnson.
or Max
I even
Johnson.
forgot he was
Sorry.
still playing. I didn't even know he was
Um,
there.
and shout out Coach Corso, man, undefeated or got all went 6-0 on all his
Yep.
picks. Not only did he go 6-0 on all his picks, any team that he played for or coached for won on Saturday.
Hmm.
So a legend goes out on top, man. We will miss you, Coach. Um, awesome way to go. Like, what a way to go out, dude. You talk about
Yes.
going out on top. That's incredible.
Yeah. It was. It was a good send off. Um, I'm kind of ready for that saga to be done, right? Like
Yeah,
that, like I'm glad it wasn't like a full season of this and that and people doing this and that. I'm glad they kind of did it early, and who knows? Maybe he'll pop in here and there, unexpected, maybe on
yeah,
vacation. This pops up at I'm already here in Boca Raton, like I'll go down
yeah,
to, Miami or something. But yeah, it was
yeah. It
that
was a
was a
nice
good
send
way
off
to
for Coach.
yeah.
Yeah,
Also, we've really missed the bucket here, not calling this like the Whiskers and Whiskeys weekend recap. So, why don't we do that now?
Okay.
WW, just weekend recap,
I like it. I like
hit
it.
with the alliteration. So,
I like it.
yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully things are better. Looking ahead to pick 'em this week. It's now the other exact opposite. Now it's just nothing but big the big the teams that played in big games playing FCS lower opponents, so spreads are high, which is always hard to pick because yeah, there's so many factors in trying to cover or if you're on either side of it,
Hmm.
36, 37, 8, 9, 40s, like it's hard to gauge. So this will be an interesting week to see if some of us at the bottom can bounce back and or if it's going to be a struggle until we really get a feel for some of these teams.
Yeah, I think it does go to show just what an effect the transfer portal can have. Because like, holy smokes, like some of these teams, like what they're able to put together. My word,
Yeah.
my word.
Okay, let's get to the rivalry that we are talking about today. So today we are talking about the Battle of I-10, which is a game played between the University of Texas El Paso, or UTEP, as you guys might know, miners, and the new, I love how I put this as NW. It's New Mexico State, not NW.
Yeah, I
New
was like,
Mexico
where's
State, not
Northwest?
Northwest State, New Mexico State Aggies. So
They do have a similar looking mascot too. So
they
that's
do.
interesting that they have a rivalry. Okay, nice.
So what are your guesses to what a trophy could look like if you're thinking you're going down that I-10 corridor going from western middle of nowhere Texas to New Mexico. What do you think?
I gotta go with I think I gotta go with like a pickaxe because I know obviously UTEP they have a pickaxe in their logo. I would think they may have one. Do the Aggies have one in their logo too? I can't seem to recall, but yeah, I'm thinking a pickaxe is probably a nice logo, like as a mining tool. Nice wooden handle and everything, little rustic looking.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that would be. That's what I'm feeling. That's what
Okay.
I'm feeling. Yeah.
Well, let me give you a little bit of the history before we get to that. So the first matchup was in 1914. And I can't believe in this notes I put NW instead of NM. Okay, so New Mexico State
I'm gonna
won
do a
19 to
little
nothing.
finder in place for you.
Well, I look at a different document
Okay.
anyway. So, and so they won the first matchup. The Aggies did 19 nothing, and then they won 8 of the first 10 games in the series. However, UTEP leads the series overall, 60 wins to 39 losses to 2 ties. So pretty decently sized a margin there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting because again, like these are, I'm glad we get to talk about rivalries like this, and I'm really gonna be glad to talk about some of the small school spotlight because there's some pretty cool things that I never really thought about. Considering, I've never thought too much about
Yeah.
New Mexico or El Paso.
That's
Um,
101 matchups too. And when this started in 1914, it's a pretty nice, not a lot of gaps in there.
mm-mm.
Even teams that we've seen where it's like they are located, close to each other and everything like that, they switch conferences and, things like that. So, uh so that's nice that they're able that they've had such a consistency there. So,
I agree. Let's go into still got to see. I feel like this is still the best spot for this. We're still working through. I like the small school spotlight. I don't know if I want to break up some of this stuff. Maybe I'll move this up for other ones. But why don't we start with New Mexico State?
okay. Okay.
So some little fun facts here. So they have a Zool library, not Dana, only
I was
Zool,
gonna say
right?
Zool. Yeah, is that did I catch that right?
Yes, I assume that's how you pronounce it. Zuhl, Zool. That's how I'd
Sure.
pronounce it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think the Ghostbusters Zool is two U's, but yeah,
yeah,
no
it's
Dana,
all right.
only Zool. Yeah.
Well, this library is a fossil and mineral library. So it houses a museum-like collection of fossils, petrified wood, minerals, and is sometimes called a library that's also a natural history museum, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
It is also famous for its Chili Pepper Institute.
Ooh,
Yes. So it is New Mexico State is world famous for its Chili Pepper Institute, the only international organization dedicated to chili pepper research.
really? The only
Hmm.
one?
Yep. And then even I guess like the only probably one on campus or like on a university, I assume.
Oh, that's
It even
interesting.
helped develop varieties like the New Mex Big Jim, which was one of the world's was once at one point the world's largest chili.
Mm,
I know.
I'll have to give
Also,
it a check.
if you want to look at this picture now, you're gonna kind of have to zoom in a little bit because it's at the tippy top of that mountain. But at this picture's taken from, I assume, a press box or at the top of the stadium, inside the stadium, and the Aggie Memorial Stadium overlooks a mountain, the Tortugas Mountain, which is Spanish for turtle.
Hmm.
But if you can look at the very tip top, there is an A on the mountain
There is,
painted
yeah. Yeah, I
for the
see it.
Aggies. And it's tradition that the students will hike that and repaint the A as it starts to fade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Arizona State has that, right? Or is it
Uh,
Arizona?
that's a good question. I'm not sure. Arizona State's is like right. It's kind of a weird spot. Like I said, the only reason I know is because my mom's State Farm building literally looked into the stadium.
Yeah.
So it was in a kind of a weird urban area. So I don't know that there would be anything around there. I could be mistaken, but I don't know much about Arizona. It could be out in Tucson. And the last fact that I found here was the Pistol Pete mascot. So New Mexico State's mascot is Pistol Pete, and it's modeled after a real life lawman and cowboy of the Southwest. And he appears at every game, often leading cheers and firing blanks from the pistols to pump up the crowd.
Is Oklahoma State's mascot also Pistol Pete?
He sure is.
Hmm. Same guy?
I don't know. I think like Oklahoma, I think New Mexico State's is an actual dude, like
Yeah.
no costume. I think Oklahoma State's is a costumed Pistol Pete, if I'm correct.
Uh, yeah. The chin kills in Oklahoma State. That's just all I can think of. Get this shit off me. Um, it kills. Sorry, just Dan, I think you should leave mental rabbit hole. Laughter feels good. Um, yeah, it is. He has the big head and everything like that. So I thought about doing a bit where it was like, what do you mean? Like he's that's just a guy.
It's no, that's
Yeah.
what he looks like.
Yeah. It's just what that's a little insensitive, EJ, to make fun of someone's head size like that. As a fellow big head haver.
Well, I'm sorry. Sorry,
It's
Pistol.
okay. It's okay.
All right, on to UTEP. So this was something really interesting, and I think you can see it in this picture as well. Is UTEP is known for its Bhutanese architecture. So it's the only university in the United States, and some say in the Western Hemisphere, whose buildings are inspired by Bhutanese Zhong style architecture.
I was just say this looks like is that the Bhutan area in I don't know what Asian country, but is that it?
Yes.
Bhutan. Oh, Bhutan is a country.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Down in
Oh
Southeast
yeah.
Asia.
Southeast Asia. Yeah,
Yeah.
or South Asia. Yeah. Where's
What
it?
and this is the origins behind this is pretty interesting. So it's actually rooted in tragedy. So after a
Okay.
devastating fire destroyed the original main building on campus in 1916, Kathleen Worrell, which was the wife of the dean, was moved by a 1914 National Geographic spread titled "Castles in the Air," which showcased Bhutanese fortresses. So she proposed rebuilding UTEP's campus in that style, believing it would kind of resonate with the Franklin Mountains that are surrounding El Paso.
I mean, it looks awesome. Like it
Yeah.
looks really cool. It's a pretty neat style. It's um yeah. I interesting. Are they known for their castles? Like I mean, yeah, that was one of the first images that came up, but wow.
Yeah.
Like is it different? I mean, so it's right south of like Tibet. It's like right next to it's the country that neighbors Nepal to the east. Um so is that just like a style specific to them?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, if I had to guess, there's probably subtle differences. Like maybe there's a
Yeah.
few that are similar in that area, but even just that area is so drastically different, especially back in 1914 than anything you're gonna, excuse me, see in America, right? So
Yeah.
like for her to pull that out of her hat, especially in El Paso of all places, is interesting. And the design itself has drawn praise from Bhutanese officials who have came over to campus to see the buildings. And some of them have even said that the buildings on UTEP look more traditional than the Bhutanese buildings in Bhutan, which
No,
is
really.
yeah,
It's kind
which
of
is
sick.
interesting.
That's kind
Uh,
of sick. That's a sick architecture style. Yeah. Looks sweet.
and the university has maintained these ties throughout the years through artifacts, exhibitions, and even some hand carved temple gifts from the Kingdom of Bhutan. So they have like a
Sweet.
nice relationship with that country, which is
That's
kind of interesting.
it's kind of dope. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, next photo. No, we are not in Point Break. That is not Surfs Up. Okay,
That's a shocker, bruh.
that is not. That is the pickaxe.
Yee. Oh, that's the
Okay.
pickaxe. Okay.
Traditional fans might think it looks like something a surfer might flash, but it's not. UTEP fans make a pickaxe sign with their hands to represent the traditional tool used by miners. So the gesture is made by players and shooters, or players and fans when players are shooting free throws at basketball games or anytime there's a kickoff during football games.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, obviously a lot of schools have hand signals, but this one was interesting because especially when you see a picture, you're like, oh, it definitely does this. But
Shocker, bruh.
I think yeah, it's
It
more
does some
more
of that.
something along
Okay.
these lines.
Okay. All right.
And they have not Pistol Pete, they have Pay Dirt Pete, their minor mascot. So we have a couple Pete's here. So he embodies the school's mining
Battle of
heritage.
the Pete's. Okay.
He's a prospector, is what he looks like, and the name originated in 1974. Although the tradition, of mining and stuff go way back, but
Mm-hmm.
pay dirt Pete.
I like it. Peter Pete.
And the next is a description of their entrance to the football games. But I want you to click that link, and it's better for you to see it than for me to describe it. So
Okay.
why don't you watch it and tell the people what it looks like?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I had an ad I wanted to get rid of. And now let me see this again. Let me see this again. Oh, this is a segment on the best college football entrances. Oh man. So he's coming in, he's bringing a pickaxe down with the team as they come out, the mine shaft entrance. So they come out of like a small tunnel, which is adorned like a mine shaft, and the coach comes out wielding a pickaxe with a bunch of smoke coming out too. That's pretty cool. I tell you, West Virginia, you're missing out here, buddy. This is oh, they're coming out through this. Oh, they're coming out through the stands. Come out like the NWO. That's awesome. That's or I guess like the Shield too, but that's good stuff.
So that tunnel reveal was a tradition popularized first by their former coach Mike Price, and it was dormant for many years until the recent coach decided to revive it. I can't remember excuse me, exactly when. But in recent years, they've decided to revive that mine shaft entrance, and I think it was definitely worth it
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
because it's unique, right? It's not only
Yeah,
unique, but it is kind of a cool thing to get people going and
yeah,
you have your heritage of your school and everything in that. So,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, just any, listen, dude. Anytime you come out, like, what teams come out through the stands? Like, that's awesome. That's pretty sick.
Okay, so that's it for the spotlight. Why don't we get back to a little bit of the history before we get into the trophy? So, due to the close proximity of these campuses, it was a natural for a rivalry to develop. The Texas College of Mines played its first ever game against the collegiate opponent, which was New Mexico A&M. So, the UTEP was the Texas College of Mines, and agriculture and manufacturing, New Mexico, which is typical for any of the Aggie, Dawning Aggie as their mascot. So it happened in 1914, and with few exceptions, kind of like how you already pointed out, they've played pretty regularly. Mainly during World War I, World War II is when there was a hiatus naturally. So they would meet. Following World War II, the series resumed on an annual basis from 1946 all the way to 2001. And that's when UTEP's administration made the controversial decision to cancel their scheduled trip to Las Cruces, which is where they are in New Mexico, in favor of scheduling an additional home game against the one AA opponent. So they, you
Mm,
know, bitched out.
cowards,
Yep.
cowards.
But that only happened for 1 year. So the schools agreed to meet again in 2002, which New Mexico State won in their biggest blowout of the minors since 1922. So they definitely took that
Yeah.
cancellation to heart.
Mm-hmm.
But then they didn't play again until 2004 in El Paso when the Miners got their revenge and won 45 to nothing,
Mm-hmm.
which was the most lopsided result in the series history. So nice little back and forth there.
Yeah, yeah.
Then in August 2020, like a lot of rivalries, it was postponed due to COVID, but they did play. Uh, Wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh, so they did. Okay. So, oh, I see. I see. Sorry. So it was in August that they decided to postpone it early in the year. And then similar to kind of like how the Pac-12 ended up playing a handful of games at the end of the year, right?
Yeah,
Each
they end
conference
up
was different,
fitting it
right? The
in.
SEC
Yeah.
I think played a
Mm-hmm.
full schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Pac-12 maybe played like the last five. I guess UTEP and Conference USA proceeded to to play football games by the time the end of the season came around.
Got it.
But New Mexico State decided not to play. So UTEP finished their season and played games, but New Mexico State decided to not for that reason.
Gotcha.
And then in 2021, New Mexico State announced it would be joining UTEP in Conference USA in all sports, including football, beginning in 2023. So that game was the first time in over 60 years that the Battle of I-10 was played in conference, which is pretty cool when you get long time rivals that finally end up meeting in a
Yeah,
conference and
yeah.
hopefully,
I kind of
you know,
figured. I kind of figured they were in the same conference for a long time, given the way that the 101 series matchup. So wow.
yeah, no, yeah, they weren't. It'd been 60 years since that, so that's pretty cool as well. I think it was the first time since they were a member of the Border Conference, which is a now defunct conference. And then in 2024, UTEP announced it would be
Rest in
joining the
peace.
Mountain West Conference starting in 2026. The future of the rivalry remains unknown. Hopefully, they will still schedule each other. That would make sense, especially if you're going to have a non-con game against like, a decent opponent. Hopefully, they will continue to schedule each other, even though they'll again now be in different conferences. But
And the border conference is kind of sick. It ran from 1931 to 1962.
Okay.
All the schools were either in Arizona, New Mexico, or Texas. So, if you bordered Mexico, that's why you were the border conference. Charter members include the University of Arizona, Arizona State Teachers College at Flagstaff, which is now Northern Arizona University, Arizona State Teachers College at Tempe, which is now Arizona State, uh, University of New Mexico, and the New Mexico College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts, which is now New Mexico State. Uh, Also, by the way, the fact that Arizona State started as the Arizona State Teachers College at Tempe, no wonder they party so hard. That tracks. Bunch of education majors just going bananas. Let's see. Then that was 31. Texas Tech, the Texas Technical College, now Texas Tech joined 32.
Ah,
The
wow.
College of Mines and Metallurgy at the University of Texas, now UTEP, joined in 35. Hardin Simmons University and West Texas State Teachers College, now West Texas A&M, joined in 41. Uh, then let's see, New Mexico left, Northern Arizona left, Texas Tech left, and then they expanded into California with Fresno State, University of the Pacific, San Diego State. Wow, I forgot University of the Pacific existed, and I forgot that I almost applied there because they sent me a mailer. And I was like, wow, this place looks awesome. It's gorgeous. And then San Diego State and San Jose State. Dude,
That was actually a really good
yeah,
conference.
dude, bring back the border conference. Like Fresno State, San Diego State, San Jose State,
Texas Tech,
Texas Tech,
Arizona,
UTEP,
Arizona
Arizona,
State.
Arizona State. This conference kind of rips. That's a sick conference.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh,
That's interesting. That would actually be a pretty interesting like look back at how conferences have evolved, right?
yeah.
What were the
Hey,
best
there's an idea.
what were the best now defunct conferences?
That's an idea.
I do kind of like that idea.
Okay.
Interesting.
Uh,
Um from
the
Texas
border conference rips though. They're sick.
So I
Oh
found a
man.
couple of just a couple of quotes here that hopefully again like we always talk about this. It's really hard to get perspective on some of these rivalries when the firsthand accounts like we can glean right and make assumptions based off of this open source research, but sometimes it's hard to get that uh, actual information on how much this rivalry means to either fans, to alums, to the players, to coaches. So this is from a TexasFootball.com article, and this was a quote from the athletic director at UTEP. So he said, "The fact is, the rivalry will always be big, but now that the conference standings and possible championships hang in the balance, each contest is more meaningful for our players, coaches, and fan bases. The bragging rights for I-10 supremacy means more now than ever." And I believe this was a quote from like right after COVID, like when the Conference USA, when they were both in the same conference for now just a couple of years, but that's what he had to say. And then there's another quote where he says, "We don't have very many schools near us or out here in Southwest. Really, it's just New Mexico and UTEP. The game against UTEP." So this is from New Mexico's coach.
Mhm.
So the game against UTEP gives us a close, unique rivalry here in the Southwest that's gone on for over 100 years. So just definitely for those two schools, it's meaningful. That gives me hope that they'll continue to schedule each other beyond 2026 once UTEP goes to the Mountain West, and it makes sense. I feel like they're pretty comparable programs and success, and it would make sense for that to be one of three
Yeah.
non-conference,
Yeah.
right? Like, um, makes sense. So why don't you scroll down, tell the people what you see. What's the trophy?
Oh man. So I was right. I was right. It's a tool. I was just wrong on which tool. It's a shovel. And folks, it's a fancy it's a multi-part tool. Oh man. No way. Oh my gosh, this is actually perfect. Um, this is actually, you don't know how well this times up. So it's a multi-part trophy. So there is first off the silver spade is oh wow. Okay, so this must be iterations of the trophy throughout the years then, huh? So there's the silver spade. So the first picture I see is a gentleman holding the silver spade, which is a decent sized shovel. It's not like a super big shovel. So I would say it's probably more of a spade with a wooden handle, like a wooden or wooden staff, I guess, with a silver. The grippy part is silver as well. And then the actual spade of the shovel is silver, and it's a beautiful gleaming sterling silver with the etched in the spade itself is the year and then the what is that, the year and the winner. Um Chew, excuse me. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trophy. And then did I scroll too far? Should I
You
have
did.
waited?
You did. I thought like
Okay.
four pages of blanked pages was going to be enough
Okay, I'll
to
wait.
stop
Okay,
you
silver
from
spade,
going
silver
too
spade, silver
far.
spade. I see the silver spade.
So
That's all I
first,
see.
the first spade for this purpose was an old prospector's shovel dug up from an abandoned mine shaft in the Oregon mountains near Las Cruces in 1947. The current spade was initiated by the UTEP Student Association, now the Student Government Association, the president Don Henderson in 1955. And after each game, the final score is engraved on the blade. So I believe the original spade is not in use. This is a replica of that original one that they found in the mountains in 1947.
That's awesome. That is so so cool, man. It's
And what
gorgeous. It
And what
is
I was gonna say
gorgeous.
was this rivalry is so good, it doesn't have just one trophy, it has two. But your little scrolling fingers
I
scroll
get a
too far.
little well, I get a little scroll happy.
Well, I get it.
Um,
Usually I give you more than one picture, so I could see you looking for a
yes.
second picture, and then before you knew it, I thought I had enough space in between to get you to stop, but
You need to get me
it's
like
okay.
you need to put a stop. Normally you put a stop.
Yeah, I do. I do. I
Um,
usually put a stop, but I just did.
or you
I
at
did.
least tell me to stop. But
Well, but then that gives away that there's something else. So I really wanted to not even let you know there was something else,
that's
but it's
fair.
okay.
The
Tell me about this.
spittoon.
There it
The
is.
brass spittoon goes with the silver spade. What a pairing. And yeah, it's a spittoon on top of it's a wooden base with a plaque on it, and then there sits atop that a brass spittoon. Let me see if I can zoom in here and see what's etched on there.
Yeah, good luck. I couldn't get unless you can zoom in on that picture, I couldn't get like any articles talking about like what was written on there.
It says express. It looks like the way that stamp is. I think they may have just picked out a. Okay, no, I'm wrong again. Computer enhance. Uh,
Enhance.
enhance.
Okay. It says here. Well, I might be able to. Yeah.
Enhance.
Oh wow.
Uh, something Roofer Express.
What are you looking at?
I'm
The
looking at
actual spittoon or the plaque?
the spittoon.
Yeah, so the spittoon has something like engraved into it, right?
I think that's
A
just like the
seal.
manufacturer's mark.
Yeah, which is still pretty
Oh
dope.
wait, it says property of
Yeah.
something something express. And then the
Fargo and
plaque itself
Co.
says something like, yeah, something trophy.
Mayor's Trophy.
Oh, mayor's trophy. Okay.
Yeah, for the something.
Classic.
Yeah, it's hard for us to see here, guys, because it's there's really only a couple pictures of it, unfortunately, and the picture the plaque's a bit worn, on top of also um being like some sunlight glare to it,
Yeah.
which makes it hard to read. It does kind of show on the spade though, TWC traveling
Yeah.
is also written on the spade itself. So, oh, okay, here the second picture actually property of something Fargo and Company Express, San Francisco,
So these
something
are
like
like
that.
legit, like a spittoon and a spade from like a mining type of expedition back in the day, is what it's
Yes.
modeled off of. That's sick. That's really cool. I
So
mean, yeah. Go
the
ahead.
brass spittoon is officially known as the Mayor's Cup, and it came into existence in 1982 when the mayors of both cities, Jonathan Rogers of El Paso and David Steinberg of Las Cruces, decided to present another traveling trophy to the winner of the UTEP New Mexico State game. United Blood Services plaque is also presented at halftime to the school with the largest blood drive results. So they also do like a blood drive ahead of the game.
That's awesome. That's the both are incredible. Wow. Two trophies.
I know.
That's really cool. I like that a ton.
And that's it. So why don't we get to our rankings?
Well, let's get to our
Oh,
new game.
that's right.
Let's get to our new
I
let's get to
forgot
our
about
I mean,
this.
well, first off, I mean, just to wrap up on the trophy, like I will say if we did this one, like looks and history and right like it would be hard for me to choose anything but fives across the. I mean, I guess competitiveness. It seems like UTEP's run away with it a little bit, but like, I mean, looks is fantastic. History is fantastic. There's a reason why they create each trophy, and then the rivalry they've played for 101 instances, and they haven't been in the same conference most of the time. So like, boy, I mean, that's a lot of fives and top tier for me. Um, hey, EJ, anything that you question on this?
No, I don't think so. So I like the spade. I think the brass spittoon probably makes more sense here than it does with Indiana and Michigan State. I will say that's the only like downside to it is that it is the second spittoon in college football. So I would give it a minor mark, but I think the spade is pretty cool, and especially like the origins of that spade
Yeah,
as well. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm with
All
you.
right. All right. Well, then you can stop me when you see a better trophy at this point. This is gonna be a difficult. Okay. First up, War on I-4. I Battle for I-10, War on I-4. I had to immediately when you said last week when you ended and said we're doing the Battle of I-10, my mind went to the War on I-4.
Okay, so and I should have done this last time
Oh yeah.
for listeners is to give people a reminder of what this trophy looks like. So the War on I-4 is essentially a street sign, right? So it's like a highway looking sign is what it's supposed to look like. With one side Orlando with UCF, the other side is Tampa for
USF.
USF, which doesn't make sense to me. It's not Tampa's not South Florida, but needless to say. So, and then it stands on a base, so it has like that typical, I guess, what do you call it? A pole, I guess, a street sign pole
Yeah.
is okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then on a base that looks like a pentagon, and the base kind of looks more like a
That's
traditional.
a hexagon, brother.
Is
That's
it?
six
Is it
sides.
six?
Six
Okay,
sides.
yeah, six sides. Okay, hexagon. So I would say this was one of those instances where it. This one was kind of too new and um it felt manufactured, but we appreciated that they thought about a trophy,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
So I will say because of the history of this Battle of I-10 and kind of like even though the spade does look nice and shiny, I don't know, something about like the rawness of it versus that one's a bit too clean.
Yes. Yes. I would agree. I'm making a slight change here while I talk.
I was
Um
wondering why it went away.
yeah. Um I agree. Um I think that the newness of the trophy, um And I having two. That's super hard to beat, and it's more my jam. Like it's more my style. It's a little more historical, which I dig, which I enjoy. So
It
yeah,
just ties to the area better. Like I get it,
yes,
the Battle of I-4, and if that's what it's called, it
yeah,
makes sense for that to be like it makes sense, but maybe more swampy or you know what I mean, a little bit more
yeah.
Florida.
Like you have traffic. Like good for you.
Right,
You could have
yeah.
done like
Right.
Monster Energy drinks and cigarettes too. But okay, okay, all right. So we're past on that one.
Okay.
I had to do
Okay.
some rearranging here, but number two is Coach Sig and Mike Koenig, America's sweetheart, with
No,
the old
no,
brass spittoon,
no.
which is just a spittoon, and it's really hard to pass up on a spittoon when you have a spade with it, right? So
So I like the old brass spittoon better than the brass spittoon, and mainly because we don't know the history of the brass spittoon, but we do know the history of the old brass spittoon,
we do.
which I believe was found at like a trade shop, and
Yep.
it could predate back to like the 1800s. So, and honestly, I like the fact that you can like carry it off its base, and that people actually spit in it, which is
Yeah.
kind of disgusting, but at the same time, I like the Battle of I-10 having two trophies.
Two trophies is better than one. I've always
So
said
I will say because I think I like the Battle of I-10s. Um, a spittoon and a spade fit the Southwest way better
yes,
than Indiana and Michigan State.
yes,
So I will
yes.
say the old brass spittoon is better than the brass spittoon, but the combo of the silver spade and brass spittoon is better than the old brass spittoon.
Agree, agree. And it fits, right?
It does.
Okay. So I moved that because I figured it'd be a easy pass.
Okay.
The Purdue cannon is next up, which is a little mini cannon that also can be taken off of its base, but it's kind of badass, folks. It's a mini cannon, and also it's a type of cannon that was used around, that era, right? Like when I think of, some of these people that were miners and Aggies on the Old West may have fought in the Civil War, right? And then try to head west to strike it rich and claim their fortune. So that's why we went with this one.
So it's actually just funny this entire segment because it's hard to I mean I think we talked about this offline like we're fast rapidly approaching 100 trophies. So it's hard, especially Purdue Cannon was a season one, right?
Hmm.
So it's funny when it's hard to recall details of trophies, but then when you see it, I don't know, even last week, like all of a sudden things start to come back. And if I do remember correctly, that cannon can fire or has been able to fire
Yeah.
iterations of it in the past. Um, and feel like it had some thievery. Like if we're going beyond just um,
Yes, if we're going, yes,
the
we have to
looks.
rank on everything. Yeah. Yeah.
This was actually one. Remind me, sorry, who is Purdue? What's the rivalry? It's Purdue and who for the Cannon?
It is Purdue, and we made Boilermakers for this episode, which was
Yes, was a great idea.
a
We
great
uh,
idea.
we actually need to think about that again.
Bringing back the drinks.
Yeah, that was fun. It was labor intensive, and it's tough once you get to a certain point when you keep
Yeah.
talking about the same states and areas. But
This was Illinois and Purdue.
Illinois, that's right. Okay, so it's a interstate rivalry.
Mhm.
I still just love the geographic ties to the trophies. So
Yeah.
like the Cannon, again, it's Illinois, so it's like Champaign, Illinois, and Purdue, West Lafayette, Indiana. Like I don't know. I don't think of cannons when I think of Illinois and Indiana. You know, obviously, I'm sure there's wars that have been fought on those lands, but I think it's an awesome trophy that's old, probably I think definitely older than the Spade if I remember correctly. I did like how it fired. It's close, but I still think I like the idea of of a cool old fashioned. I don't know though,
Well, the
because
history though, I will say the history though, I was low. I was a 2, you were 3.5.
okay,
We were
so
a little harsher on these back in the day, I feel like
yeah,
though, so it might be a little bit higher now. But yeah, so yeah,
can I
aggregate score here was 3.72.
can
So
I can I push?
you can push if you want. I am still not telling you. Well, the game is stop. Stop when you see better.
No, go ahead, keep going. Barely though,
There's one more. There's
barely,
one more.
barely.
We're talking about Aggies and miners in the Southwest.
Yes.
Well, let's compare that to a lumberjack and Paul Bunyan.
Stop.
Yeah, yeah,
This is where it stops.
yeah,
And
yeah,
this I can't. I
yeah.
can't.
He's even.
Um
I thought about dressing him in Michigan blue to make you
no.
question it, but yeah, it's. This is when you get into like an upper echelon of trophies, right? And the first time I did it, I didn't want to bring out Floyd or any of the big guns, but I felt like for this one, wanted to bring out, see how we're really ranking this stuff compared to some of the big boys. And I'm glad I did because this honestly, it, yes, I mean, I'm stopping because it's Paul Bunyan, and Paul Bunyan's like one of the reasons that I would think we started this podcast. But
Yeah.
like, so that's difficult. But like, it gives me a little pause, especially when you think about it. But Michigan and Michigan State, when you look at that rivalry and everything that means, and this trophy being so iconic, like it's very hard. It's the frankly the battle on I-10 ran into a battle of I-10 ran into a buzzsaw on this one. So
They did. Yeah. I mean, and even just beyond it being a trophy that it was probably the first time I ever thought about a rivalry trophy, right? So Michigan State has these other trophies, but like Paul Bunyan is the guy, and it's so iconic. I mean, let the record state that his pants are naturally green, and that you have to put toy yellow pants on him when it's in Ann Arbor. But yeah, this one's just too iconic between bitter rivals, in-state rivals as well, because you have in New Mexico's instance, you have New Mexico State has New Mexico, right? So they have an inner state rival or intra-state rivalry. So that one's tricky. Beyond the fact that it's just if you were to do a poll of the top five rivalry trophies in all of college football for even people that are not familiar with a ton of them, that's definitely one that
yeah,
would get picked. So
yeah.
unfortunately, sorry, Silver Spade and Brass Spittoon, but the buck stops at that Paul Bunyan there.
I think it's yeah. I mean, it's definitely close. It's close. Especially when you look at, I mean, aggregate score of this one is a 4.58. Um, so it's definitely a top tier trophy. But I think that our aggregate score here for this one will also be pretty high. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just something a little extra. But I am super. The Battle of I-10 did not disappoint when we were talking best of the rest. That's for sure. So
Mm-mm. And so this game will be played at the end of the year during Rivalry Week on Saturday, November 22nd at 3 p.m. in El Paso. So unfortunately, what ends up happening if you guys have listened all 5 years is they're definitely games that are usually played on the same weekends, and we have something else special to a different trophy to talk about the week of that game. But this game will be played this year, and I believe this will be the last time because when they move to Conference USA, or excuse me, when UTEP moves to the Mountain West, there'll be that brief hiatus until they work out, a contract moving forward, which it sounds like probably won't take too long for them to do.
yeah.
All right, so that is going to do it for this week. Follow us on Instagram for at whiskers.whiskies, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please join us for our Pick'em Challenge. We just started. And based on the week that most of us had, you're still in it. Anyone that has 0 points. So please join. Even if you haven't already, you will not be too far behind. So join us next week when we have a special guest and we talk about the Royal Rivalry. So for EJ, or for Mike, I'm EJ. Always remember, too much of anything is bad, but too much good whiskey is barely enough.
Cheers, boys.